Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it's August 15th, 2022, and it's 10:16 a.m. in the morning. Okay, where to begin? Uh, well, one thing, this is my current internet speed. Um, the only difference you might notice is the upload speed. Uh, Spectrum is the internet service provider that we've had. Uh, they've been okay. I mean, over the years there have been like problems occasionally, but they've been okay. I know there's been a lot of complaints about about them over the years. I've used so many different. Well, when I started out, you know, I was using, you know, using a telephone line at 300 baud, and then it was a big thing when we could upgrade to 1200 and then 2400 and whatever. But with the internet service providers and that type of thing, uh, I've used them all, just about, I guess, and gone through a lot. Just an amazing when I first got a 300 baud, with my Radio Shack Model 1 computer that had 48K of memory. Uh, then when I found out about modems, I didn't know. I ordered one. I didn't know what a modem was, uh, and got it 300 baud. The amount of money I paid for just modems over the years is staggering. But then, in 1982, I started a computer bulletin board system at 300 baud. And living in a mobile home park. And then I wanted to upgrade to two phone lines. By the way, the phone company back then, I don't know, like the mafia or something rather. The phone company, of course, they had like different divisions, but it was all the phone company. One division made the hardware, and another provides you with, the line, and just on and on. And to make it like a long distance phone call, you had to go and have blood drawn so you'd have enough money to, I mean, it was just horrendous. And the phone company, of course, it was not illegal for you to run an extension, in your place. You couldn't do that. You had to buy their equipment and use their equipment, and just, I mean, it was just, anyway. So I've seen, oh, I wanted to mention that, so I added a second phone line to my bulletin board system. They came out, the telephone company came out, and they installed it. And, well, first I had one phone line, worked fine, 300 baud, maybe we were at 1200 by then. I'm not sure. I think, yeah, I'd gone to 1200 right away. But so then I wanted a second phone line so two people could be logged in, and for other things, because I was playing around with it, people could log in, and then they could go to my menu, and then they could dial out, and then they could see that on their screen. I played around with stuff like that. And then too, what you could do back then is the way the phone company charged, like long distance phone calls within a state. I mean, it was like highway robbery. If you like, so I was in Missouri, and to make a call a short distance away, that was another, area code area or something, and you would pay tremendous amount of money for that. It was just crazy. But so I wanted another phone line, and I had one. So the phone people came out. Oh, real nice, and they hooked up a second phone line for me. That was great. I had two phone lines. So the next day, the second phone line was dead. And I called the phone company, and actually because I lived out a little bit from Canada, and so the phone crews, they had a building there or something or other, and the guys who worked out in that area, whatever, they would go there, where they went in the morning, I guess, to get their assignments and stuff, and they drank some coffee or stuff or whatever. So they knew, hey, this guy that we just put, and they came on over, right away. And they said, oh, okay, we'll fix it for you. There's not a problem. So we fixed it. The next day, I wake up or whatever, phone line is dead. So I call them. Wow, so they come out. Oh, okay. He says, the way this works is, you got a phone line, and it is charging a battery in this other device. And that gives you, where you have your second line. And I was, okay. He says, we fixed it here now. The next day I wake up, I called the phone company. They came out, and I don't know what's going on here or whatever. I said, now wait a minute. When you were here yesterday, I have one phone line. It was working great. You hook up this second one, and there's a rechargeable battery in this. Yeah. When your other phone line is not being used, then that charges up the battery in this second one. And I said, the other line is a bulletin board system. Of course, I'm not sure they knew what a bulletin board system was. And they said, well, when it's not being, no, I said, the bulletin board line is, somebody's on it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I wanted this other line so other people could get in. And so okay, he says, oh, I see, okay. So he said, what was it? Oh, okay, well, in this mobile home park, I think that's when he said, okay, this is not going to work. But he says, when they built this, mobile home park and everything, they'd figured one phone line for each lot. And he says, and of course this place lots were always usually pretty much, He says, but okay, there's a place down there. He said that they're not, a couple lots not being used right now. So we'll use that line there. So they did that. It worked for 2, 3, 4, maybe even worked for a week or something. And then I heard people, dialing in. You could hear the dial, thing or whatever, dialing in, and I could hear some lady talking. I don't know why I'm having this trouble. There's something wrong. I'm hearing tones and stuff. So I called them. I forget what they did. Finally, it got taken care of. I can't remember what they did. Maybe they dug another line in or something or other. But so, like I said, when I was in Florida and Orlando, that was a trailer too, by a lake, little tiny trailer park, by a nice little lake, and had duck I could go down there and throw. And then I could also, from Orlando, I could see the space shuttles launches up there. And I told you before, I got some fantastic pictures one time of the boosters breaking away, and because of the sun was, in a position where it was flying, So I had the shuttle, and then in the background you could see way far away some airlines, flying. Anyway, got some great stuff like that. But there, we had the people would not go underneath the trailer because of snakes, the install guys. But so we had a dish, small dish. So that's how we received internet. And then we had a phone line, and that was how we sent into. So you can imagine, But I mean, it worked for what I was doing. Uh, then later, I was living. My ex-wife bought a in Texas, bought a house, but I paid for the. I was making the payments, and she was buying food. She was also, with her money, she was buying a new sofa, a new refrigerator, that kind of stuff, and I was paying the house payments and that kind of stuff. But for the internet, then we had to have. It looked like we were trying to connect with the space shuttle or something or other. It was gigantic, and it was slow. It wasn't designed. I forget how we were paying a lot of money. I was paying a lot of money for it. So it was just slow. It wasn't designed, it was designed for one person, to be doing stuff. And there was more than one person there. It was a nice house. I had a part of the house was like a separate, like a, what do they call them, grandmother suite or whatever. I had my own kitchen. I had my own toilet. And that's just where I just stayed over there. And everything was fine. But we had that kind of service. But then the ex-wife, a religious group kind of came by, I guess, and invited her to, join their church and whatever. She really wasn't into religion, but I think she thought maybe she could meet a nice guy or something, I don't know. So anyway, she joined it. Well, anyway, then those people, I guess, said somehow it was like, because I stayed away. I mean, I just stayed in my little area, And anyway, then Darlene was like, don't let these people, see you, or don't. And so she'd say to them, oh, they're coming by. So if I happen to be out of my little area, I'd go back in my little area. But then they found out that she was living with her ex-husband. And, of course, she told them, well, we're just sharing it, expenses or whatever. But anyway, I guess they were like, oh. And so then that became her this is hurting my dating. And I just can't remember all this, stuff. And I just stayed in my, my area. And then I was in my, area, and I heard her saying to my son, grown, can't forget. Anyway, saying something about, this isn't, this just isn't working or whatever. And I want him out of here, me. Man, he says, but, Mom, he's paying for everything. And then I heard her say, I want his fat ass out of here, whatever. And then, so I waited till she calmed down, and then I went in and I said, you can't manage. I'm paying for, utilities and all this kind of stuff. She was buying groceries, and then she bought some because it was a new place, and a nice place. And I said, well, if you want me out, yeah, I want you out. I want you out right now. And I said, well, I just paid all the bills, for here. I don't have, it takes all of my money. I won't have anything for a week or two. I said, can I stay until I get my money? And then she says, yes. So anyway, she ended up driving me to a week or two later to the bus, and I was out of there. A few months after that, she lost the house. She couldn't afford to pay for the house, so she moved. Actually, she moved to Fort Worth to this apartment complex, and then years later, I ended up, with one of the kids in an apartment here because she thought and I thought that it might help with situation, with my son's problems and stuff. But so we had that dish there. The internet service provider we have is Spectrum. Now what happened is she lived here, next door for years. And then when I came with, at that time, my grandson, I think it was. I think it was my grandson, grown grandson. We moved into an apartment right above her apartment over here. And then eventually, my grandson and I, we moved to a 2-bedroom, 2-bath here. And then eventually, my grandson's mother showed up from Sweden, and she moved into an apartment behind us on the second floor, and my grandson, went over there, and then, he went over there. We moved in, when I moved in, we had a place above Darlene's, and that was 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And then when my grandson was living up there, we moved here, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And so then his mother showed up, and then we were paying double everything. Rent here. I was paying rent here, of course. She was paying rent over there. We're 5 miles line of sight from a reserve air base. Anyway, so we moved. Anyway, so it was, we were paying double everything. Paying here, I was paying here. She was paying over there. And so then they kept raising the rent here, so they moved over in here, so they're here. But over there we had Spectrum, she had Spectrum, I had Spectrum upstairs, I had Spectrum here. Okay, the Democrats in Congress, and along with the President of the United States, Biden. By the way, if you're outside the United States, you probably know about the way the system works over here, capitalism. So, the United States, I think we're like 17th in internet speed. Number 1 or 2 in what it costs for internet. Just everything. It's the way the system works. There's laws to protect, these big corporations where they can, be the only internet service provider for an area. Another one's not allowed to move in. In other countries, Sweden and other countries, the government builds the infrastructure, builds the lines and whatever, and then they decide, how everybody has that. It's just a mess, but So the Democrats finally trying to change things a little bit, but it's almost impossible. But they came up with this bill to help, because everybody needs internet access. In the past, the United States, well, all countries, mail service or whatever, but and roads and electricity, telephones, all these things had to be fought for because the corporations, wanted to control everything. Finally, laws were passed where the phone company couldn't, where it wasn't against the law if you wanted to add an extension to your, actually the government broke up of course they didn't hurt them at all, broke up the telephone company into the various branches that it was anyway, and then all of those made super money also. I mean, you're not gonna beat them. So anyway, the United States government, I don't know how they did it with Republicans in Congress, but they passed a thing to help people who are poor and for inexpensive high-speed internet, because you just need kids need it for school, especially with the the virus and things like all these kind of things. And so the Biden administration passed a thing where the internet service providers, I mean, you're not going to tax them. You're not going to do all these things that you probably need to do. But so anyway, they passed a thing where, okay, internet service providers, you provide high-speed internet to these people that are poor, and I happen to be one of them. And now you think that the internet service provider you think that they're going to be taxed? You think they're going to be have to do no. The internet service providers will get paid. And well, actually, like they don't send me anyway. I haven't happened yet, but the internet service providers will provide high-speed internet. I guess it probably maybe varies between the various companies depending on what, but I've been paying for, and right now I am 400 megs up, and no, 400 down, and megs down, and 20 up, and paying $80 a month for that. So the way it works out is I applied, and for $20 a month I will get 1 gigabyte down. Wow. And I think it's 40 up, 40 megs up, I think. Now, maybe more than that. But anyway, and Charter or Spectrum, the government will pay them direct. They're not going. The government doesn't send me the difference between $20 and which is fine with me. Well, I'm not fine that they're paying these corporations, but they're paying them direct, which is that's okay. Except the corporation should be, paying out some money. So I ordered. No need to show it to anyway. So I logged in and filled out. Well, at first I logged in. I filled out a thing to see if I was eligible, based on how much I make and that type of stuff. And I was told that, well, first you have to log in and make sure it's available. And for a while it wasn't available because this is 5G. Now, of course, the other providers, they have maybe different ways of, could be satellite, all kinds of ways. But the thing here was, so for a little bit there wasn't the 5, because you have to have these antennas. It's not like the cell phone thing, where there's a cell phone antenna which covers a pretty good area, with cell phone service. But this 5G, the antennas have to be much closer to everybody. So for a while, like, it wasn't available. Then the word went out that it was available, and I logged in. Yes, it's available. And so I filled out the information, and they said, okay, well, yeah, you qualify, and we'll be notifying you. So I waited, I think, like a month, and then finally I logged in the other day, and when I logged in, it popped up, oh yeah, you're eligible. They didn't send me an email or a text message or anything. Oh yeah, you are eligible. And then also, the reason I'm only paying $20 a month is because my ex-wife and grown son, they share this place. She gets food stamps. And if you get food stamps, that's one of the indicators. And the way the food stamp thing works, you get so much a month depending on how many people. And it's actually seemed like that's another Democratic program, Democratic Party program. It doesn't matter that I'm living here and that I don't make much coming in, but I make enough that I would not qualify for food stamps. But if one person, because they consider it like a family or something, even though you're not married or whatever, it's, I guess for some reason they couldn't set it up, so they know that, So because she qualifies for a small amount of food stamps, I guess they, check the address or whatever, and okay, this you qualify for the $20 a month thing. So I clicked on the things that I needed to click on, and they very quickly sent me out a kit. And this modem or whatever, it looks identical exactly to the one that that we have. And even on the back, everything looks the same. That's why I've had to separate them here so I don't get them mixed up. And then of course they sent some other, a few other cables or whatever, and some instructions. Okay, I'm an idiot. I've told you that before. I thought because it's 5G, and I didn't watch a bunch of YouTube videos on it. Actually, I had a little bit of trouble finding them, or I would have, because they talked about, I don't know, different things or whatever. So my understanding was that the cable that we have right now that runs from here out into the box, like when you live in an apartment or a hotel or whatever, they have a box out there. Everybody has their connector that's inside that thing, and it comes over a cable. I thought, I still think that, is that you don't need that coaxial hookup because you're getting it from a dish or from an antenna located strategically around. You can move the equipment, when you hook it up, okay, whatever, then you can try and move it to a different area and get maybe a stronger signal coming in, and I'm here waving my arms and you can't see me, So anyway, I went ahead and hooked this thing up, and problems. and I worked with it for quite a while. Oh, and my ex-wife, who's handicapped, bedfast, except she can use a wheelchair. And all she does is, well, either sit in her wheelchair at the computer and play games, and then the other thing is watch television. We get all the channels or whatever. I have a small on the floor. I've hooked it up a couple times for a day or something. A small Roku TV, but it's on the floor. Sometimes it's not set up for months. But so I start hooking this stuff up, which I think is going to be an easy job, and that, problems arise. No internet connection, all that kind of stuff. Finally I call, and they were real nice, except with my hearing problem, I don't even like talking on a telephone. And the first person I talked to, it was really difficult hearing what the person was saying, and that puts me in a stressed mood. And so he said, no, you have to plug into the coaxial thing, and that's where we get our data from. That's where we know what your settings should be and all that kind of stuff. And my operation, I have my everything here, although there's a desk that in the living room where the ex-wife has a computer set up, but then everything that really is in here, everything that I need. So then they, no, okay, you've got to, and I said, well, I moved, oh, you moved it? No, you need to hook up that coaxial cable, and you need to do this. And I said, I don't have that cable in here, blah, blah, so, well, anyway, so he's going to call me back. So I had to try to move stuff into there, but my computers were here, and I don't touch my wife's, computer. She doesn't want to learn anything. She just, everything is like, if she has a problem, it's like she wants to play her game, simple games. We're not talking, what is a big game, I don't know, and then watch TV. So I don't even touch her computer because she's got the resolution set where, like, the few times I've tried to go in there and help her, it's like, where's the menus? Where is, everything is like off the screen, So I don't touch it. So anyway, I go in, the guy was going to call me back, the first guy. Well, he didn't call back. He probably got another customer and another customer, so. Anyway, I called in again, got a really nice guy, and I could hear everything he was saying. I don't know if the other people, if they're using a headset, and if they, don't, but I could hear him. That made it great. Okay. So then he says, okay, well, you need to hook up such and such, and then I can't remember exactly, okay, hook up such and such. Okay, well, okay. And my computers are in here. I have a laptop, which I don't really use. I don't like laptops. I have a new, laptop, not counting the Apple laptop that I have that's not being touched, because I don't like Apples. And then I have a tablet, a Chrome tablet, and I don't really like, so anyway, the guy says, okay, well, what you need to do is run over, you'll get it for free, run over and pick up a router, well, we don't have a car. I can barely walk. My ex-wife's confined to a wheelchair. My son, of course, well, he doesn't have a car either, but he was in the hospital. So I said, well, can you just send it to me, and how long will it take? And then he said, oh, 3 or 4 days. And I said, well, okay. And then I said, but I said wife rather than confuse people. I said, okay, my wife watches, she's handicapped, she watches television all the time, and I will be in serious trouble. I said, can I do this? Because he was doing things, going into the thing and changing things. And I said, oh, okay, can I stop this installation procedure and hook it just exactly the way it was up before? And then when I get the router from you, then go and set this thing up. And he says, yeah. Yeah, he says, I think that would work. He said, that's an interesting thing. He said, I think that'll work. And I said, okay. But then, before he said, but you have to sign a form, such and such, or whatever that's required. And he says, so, can I text it to you? And I was, okay. I never got the text. And I said, I don't know why I'm not getting them. I get them in the past, but right now I can't, because, see, everything wasn't hooked up, by the way. I have a cell phone, so, it didn't come in on the cell phone. And I said, well, how about sending it to my email address? Oh, okay, I can do that. He said, but you need to fill it out right away. I said, yeah, as soon as I get it, I'll fill it out. And he said, then we can do, such and such. I think it's some type of a release. I don't know what the release says. It must be something like, okay, we're going to click this setting here or something for you, but you're not allowed to start your own company. I don't know what it says, some type of a technical thing, and he is like, no, you know. So I say, as soon as I get this hooked up, I'll do it. I got it hooked up. I didn't get any text messages. I didn't get any email. I didn't get any email. I'm getting other emails, but I'm not getting an email from him. I'm not sure they're going to send me the router. But anyway, thank God I got this hooked back up. Owen, you would not believe, because I had to dig up some stuff in my, everything. You've seen the pictures, I think, before. I've got, and I had to disconnect my wife's telephone service, of course, also. And anyway, this room, you've seen pictures of it. There are other rooms here. One is my son's room, grown son. He's in his 40s. And I call it a hazmat area. And he lives in his own little world. And I'm afraid to set foot in his room. But worse than that is the living room. My daughter, who's been a big from Sweden, has been I don't know what we'd have done without her. When I was in the hospital, she saved my life by getting me out of there. For 6 days I was there and I couldn't eat anything. And of course the nurses ask you every day, did you eat why didn't you, whatever. And I said, I'm sick, I can't do it, whatever. All this kind of stuff. I had to leave AMA, Against Medical Advice. And I've talked about that on here someplace. I need to organize data better. Indexing or something so so I don't have to go through some of this stuff. But, so anyway, so when I hooked this up to try to install this, the telephone, so my ex-wife lost television and her telephone access. She will not use a cell phone. She can't see it, and she's not about to learn, what to do, so. So from about 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., no internet, no whatever. And so finally I hooked everything up back the way it was. What's kind of interesting is right away, instead of, I still got 400, well, approximately 350 or whatever megabyte uploads. And my download had been like, or my upload was 20 megs upload, which was okay. But when I tried this switchover thing and whatever they did, right away it jumped to 40, so I think that's what, when you get 1 gig or whatever, whenever that happens, I think I'll have 40 up. But I had 40 up because I uploaded a video, and it made a big difference between 20 and 40. So I wonder if I'm going to get the router, because I wasn't able to send this information back to them, and it seems like they desperately want that. So right now I'm using Wi-Fi. I need to make a small change in that, because I'm using Wi-Fi. Where in here I also have, in the past I've had, internet, the cable, that way. So I need to hook that back up in here, but I'm hoping I get that router, and I'm hoping that takes care of it. But I know when I get it and then I try to do this again, I hope it goes okay. Luckily, I think would be difficult for my ex-wife to kill me, since she's bedfast or wheelchair bound. Otherwise, if she misses her TV shows, oh my God. So there's no point really showing this. If you know some good on Sprint's, no, not Sprint. Whatever service I have, if you see any good internet how to install or stuff like that, send me the link in the next, and I'll add it here. I'll add it down here. And there was some other stuff I wanted to tell you, and I can't remember what it is. But anyway, I got my ex-wife's telephone service. The problem with that is, like I told you, there's this living room loaded with firewood in case we lose electrical power. We're in Texas. Texas does not, I've mentioned this before, if you're in some other state or country and you are thinking of moving to the United States or from the United States to a state, I do not recommend, like I said, I'm in Texas. I don't recommend you come into Texas. Texas is very proud of itself that it resists the United States. It resists federal stuff, environmental controls, all types of things. In the United States, we have a, East Coast grid, electrical grid, and we have a West Coast technical grid, and of course, they cooperate with each other, and if the other side, so they do whatever they need to do, and they, whatever. And then we have Texas, and Texas is so proud of that they have it, they have a power grid. It doesn't work. I'm not sure what the latest numbers are when we lost electrical power from the power grid, which doesn't work. Did I mention it doesn't work? And it, I forget what the number, first the numbers were 80 or 90 died when we didn't have electrical power in Texas, where the power grid doesn't work. And I think Texas lied about the numbers that died, or different, I guess they counted how many died immediately. Well, how many died when they went to the hospital because of, I think now it's in the 200 range or more that died because we don't have a power grid in Texas. So if you're thinking to come here for some reason, uh, don't come. Well, unless you don't need electricity. There's a power grid and they make sure that it makes money. And they make money, I don't know how they do it. They make money like crooks do. And crooks always find a way to make money. Like the other, the East Coast grid, the West Coast grid, they work with each other. There's standards. Okay, the East Coast is not going to work with the West Coast, and the West Coast is not going to work with the East Coast unless they know that that you're taking care of your stuff. You're taking care of your, sources of you're doing that kind of thing. Now Texas is like, I don't think we need to make sure that the, wind turbines work. Yeah, we can skip this year of making sure that such and such works. That'll be extra money, that they divide up somehow. Ouch. So anyway, we have right now until whatever, we're not getting advantage of the $20 rate. We won't get that until this switch takes place. But so I got a bunch of cables here and stuff. Anyway, anytime I need to do it, I've talked about that before, and I think I've shown you some pictures. Every time I have to do something here, because I'm like one room, and I have plastic containers and stuff on shelf, computer stuff, all computer stuff. Well, there's a few shirts and pants in there, in the closet. But in the living room, I can't even get, it took me a couple of days to get Darlene's phone service back, because naturally I have at least 3, will have, because I was bought for phone service, not cell phone, but I had the same brand, Panasonic, I think, but I had, one, and then they came with an upgrade to make it, a little better, and I bought the second, the upgraded model, and then they came out with something better, and I bought that, and then when my ex-wife moved over here, I had given them, one of my, which she liked because of the remote, worked out well for somebody, especially somebody handicapped. But when they moved over here, I said, oh, okay, well, the system that I gave you, there's a new and improved system. And I said, so you'll be using that. No, she doesn't want new and improved. She wants what she's been using and it works, which of course it did work, but. So that was part of the problem, all in this living room area where it's difficult for me to get through, and then there's stuff all over the floor, and it's almost impossible for me to bend over to pick anything up or look at where. And so, but finally, it took me a little bit to figure out which one of and because the other stuff was plugged in there that I didn't know where it was plugged into, because there was stuff stacked on top of it, and I didn't know where anything was plugged in. So, but anyway, there was 2 or 3 phone systems plugged in, and I think one that wasn't plugged in, and so all I had to actually do for that was just go in and figure out, okay, unplug this one. Or plug this one in. Is the phone working? No. Then found this other one, plugged it in, pressed the test button where you can sound a tone to find your cell phone, to find your, not cell phone, but your, ouch, cell phone. Okay, what time is it? 11 o'clock. I need to take my naproxen, and I didn't take yesterday's medication for the 14th. Today's the 15th. Might be a good idea to get the other thing and take that. Anyway, wish me luck. If you do find somebody who does a good explanation of spectrum, YouTube video. And that worked pretty good, didn't it? See? Okay, what's included? Okay. Okay. Connect modem. I know what you're going to say. Let's see, come on. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they're showing it that you plug in from the cable thing over to the thing that comes in from outside from the box. Did I show that? No, I don't think I showed it. Let's see. And then we go to, so, actually you people are pretty nice to me when I tell you how dumb I am. You're pretty nice to me. You don't say, yes, you're even dumber than you think you are. You kind of give me a break. But it would have been so nice if I could have got all of this working the other day. The only change, I had to dig tons of stuff out of here to find various things that I needed. And then I need to order a table. I have 2 tables. I need to order another one of these because they were super easy to put together. I mean, I call them desks, but they're tables. And I need another one over there so that when I have to do something like this, I could put all of this stuff on that table instead of on my bed. Because when I put it on my bed, and then I need to lay down and take an naproxen because of how bad my back and everything, I have to get everything off my bed. So I need to order another table. You can help out by using my link, Amazon link, when you purchase something. It doesn't cost you anything, and instead of me getting $6 or $7 a month from you doing that, I might get, there for a while, I was getting a few months where it might have been right before Christmas. I think most of us are ordering right, but I think I was getting there for 2 or 3 months, $60 or $70 a month. And that was nice. So if you could use the link below, that would help out a great deal. Or, let me switch here. If you just go to, let's test this again here. I am looking forward to getting this high speed, somebody going from 300 baud or 1200 or whatever. I mean, I'm happy now, but can you imagine how happy I'll be if I have 1 gig down? And I think it's going to be 40 megs up, but let's see. Let's go here. Is it jimhoward.me? Yeah. Now that is a secure link. If you use that, now you can use the one below that's listed as, I need to come in here though and update these things. But if you can, oh, this is a private view. Okay, let's see what the others. This is what you see. Okay. By the way, don't tell anybody. And I finally ordered. I love gummy bears. I ordered some gummy bears that supposedly have not marijuana in them. I think it's the thing to something that's supposed to give you, you know, an erection. Not that I need it, but I just thought, you know, I love gummy bears, and I thought, you know, hey, what, you know, actually, with the heart condition that I have, taking something like Viagra or one of those could be deadly. There was a comedy movie. Oh, who did it have in it? You probably remember. Oh, let's see. Oh, who was the movie star? Anyway, he's old, like me, but he's dating. Whoops, you can't see me doing my little finger thing. He's dating this young lady. Anyway, he's at her place, and her mother, you know, I mean, her mother lives there. Her mother's a writer or something like that. But she's his age, you know, probably. And anyway, he has an attack there. And he collapses, and they take him to the hospital. Well, so of course the mother and the girl follow, you know, go there to be with him, you know. And then the cardiologist, the doctor, maybe it was just an ER doctor, they're starting an IV on him. And then he says, are you taking, I forget how he puts it, you know, are you taking anything like Viagra or, you know, whatever? And so the movie star, the guy, you know, he looks over at his girlfriend, and he looks at her mother, you know, and they're right there, you know. And he says, no, nothing at all. Don't take anything at all like that. And then the doctor tells the nurse, okay, go ahead and start the, you know, start the IV. Start putting the, you know, the stuff into the IV bag or whatever. And then the doctor said, the reason I ask you, you know, about the Viagra or what the others' names are, was that if you were taking that and you were on that, this IV would, I forget how he put it in the movie, you know, it would probably kill you. And then, what's his name? He yanks the IV thing out, you know. That was the movie wasn't that funny, but it was good because of who it had in it. And I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, I want to thank you very much for watching. Oh, try to use the link below. Let's see, how can I show you the link below? I guess I could go to, where would I go? If I go to, I don't even know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.